My name is Alex, and I am first. I'm a senior studying public health at the University of Rochester. My story begins in Mexico, where I was born. I was born there and moved to the U.S. with my parents when I was 5 years old. I grew up in San Diego, California, and my parents had gone to school in Mexico, but college was out of their financial reach. So the idea that I could ever make it to college here was also very daunting and strange to them because they had never made it there, so they didn't really know how to get me there. And once here in the U.S., I grew up in a low-income neighborhood, and it had an amazing culture, but its schools were also really, really underfunded. And this, along with the fact that I was undocumented in the country at the time, made it very, very hard to think that I would ever have a chance of making it beyond middle school or even make it through high school. Fortunately, I had a mom that read to me every single day in kindergarten and in the first grade. So this alone, emphasized the value of education in my head. Thanks, Mom. It didn't take very long for me to realize that education was a ticket to a better life, to more opportunities. So eventually I found myself around the right kind of people, around the right kind of environment, and they helped me immerse myself into a culture of very, very high expectations. I really do think that's crucial in getting students to succeed, because I didn't grow up with the best resources. I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I was an inner city kid, but the fact that I was always held to this really high standard, that made a huge difference in what I believed, what I perceived that I could do in academics and in life, really. I think that's the most important thing about being the first, is that we all have potential. It just takes the right environment to help students blossom. When I got my acceptance letter from the University of Rochester, it was another pretty monumental moment, I'd say. It meant that once again, strangely, I was crossing another border, except this time it was mental. I had moved from Mexico to the U.S. not knowing anything about the country, and I always felt kind of lost here, even though this is now my home, this is my culture. But being accepted to an institution directly across the country from California, Southern California, where I grew up after moving here, being accepted to an institution in the state of New York, and just knowing that someone there had taken the time to look through my application, read my story, learn about me, and then decided that I would be a good addition to their campus and their culture, that gave me so much confidence. And for the first time, I really did feel like I belonged somewhere. Being the first to attend college ultimately means that despite my circumstances as an undocumented student and having grown up very poor, I'm still an extremely intelligent and worthy human being, despite what anybody might say. And it also means that I have paved the way for a different way of life for my family and for others that may share my circumstances. And even now, and maybe they feel like, they can never do it. I did it, and that means that others can too. And the fact that my story could motivate someone, I think that's incredible, and that's the most important.